I came here because maybe I seen, I first got barefoot and then pointed at the sun. And maybe it's a filter, maybe is that going to help me not be ADHD-ish or whatever? Is it going to increase my memory, increase the size of my blackboard? Probably not, and do I need it to? But at least I'm walking around barefooted, and I'm at a park and whatever. So like, I don't know. So I seem water's supposed to do something for us. Large bodies of water to help us. They say water's close to the source. Yada yada. I don't know. But the point is, like, what's one story out of 7 billion, or even 144,000, or 7 to 8 billion to 100, either 140,000? What's one single Ice Age story? My only excuse for even attempting something like this is Christina the Heart Alchemist, which I just love dearly. But she's explaining kind of the twin flame concept, and then saying it don't matter if you're separated. Well, maybe to others, but not in my timeline, not under the conditions I was in. Emergency, when it's an emergency connect, I'm not having anybody outside, and I have someone else tell me, oh, it's not relevant. When I'm being tossed away like rancid trash for someone obsessed with their own mortality, scoffing at us not spinning on a CGI ball, whatnot, no, it's no. And in addition, it's like, a lot of these people, like, no, so you get a lot of truths in people that are still promoting, CGI solar systems and universes, and nonsense physics based on math, nature doesn't work on numbers, period. As I can't think of his name, but whatever. There's one guy, you can tell he knows all physics. I keep mentioning him, but he will not yield on being in a closed biosphere. But all the living that I've encountered so far, the truly living, that's I think that's step one, and step one. That's how you consider freedom and relevance. Like I say, it's one, when you get on the other side of it, you remember, it's one nihilistic narrative. Not only can the fish not come up to the shore and leave one gill in the water and one on the lung, waiting for it to transfer into a lung. Why it wants to leave the safety of the water? That's another story. But they give themselves away with the ridiculous timelines. There's that fish that sit there for millions, if not billions of years, and it'd have to, it has gills at the moment, so it'd have to keep the gill in the water and allow something else to evolve. So thus, it would have to have the other gill out there, like, struggling to breathe, making it evolve into a lung, which would have to happen instantaneously, which we all know. What we call evolution is instantaneous or does not happen at all. Obviously, they rub this shit in our faces with the nonsense timeline distinctions. Thus, see, I'm all over track. That's there's too much as far as my story. There's too much detail. There's just too much, like, unexplainable nonsense, and the only explanation would be extreme pettiness. Seriously, like, just refusal to speak clearly, and extreme pettiness would be the only excuse for its continuation. And how did you trick my soul into doing that? When I say my soul, it's like, well, when someone comes to you and says, I'm your other half, and then you tell them later that, that's the happiest day of my life, literally. Not because I was kind of squatting in a home. I let the power go out in. Barely had resources, didn't know when he was going to eat, and that'd be the happiest day of my life. And I'm taking you to another man's house to do, and I say we had sex or not. That's irrelevant in that sense. You were going to help him clean up some, whatever. Like David Maggi says, that's the sum of all our intents. Motherfucker, come to the Delta and tell us that. Why is the sum of all intent destined on killing us in the Delta right now? And y'all got to realize that. And even in Arizona, any place where you don't have the humidity of the Delta and the heat, come on now. You can't go around just with just non-open-ended statements that just sum everything up, like the sun is the sum of our intents and that's it. Well, it's obviously a little bit more than that. That's not the same sun. Not that it's not the same sun. That's not the intensity of the sun is increased so ridiculously And why? And I think at one time people were talking about it, but why no more? And the Delta, that's not the same goddamn sun. I give my mother, like, see, someone would tell me, the one, the Mark would tell me, no, he would laugh at my mother as he did when we were growing up, that, scoff like he loves to do, that, oh, no, that happened, they're just older and skin, her skin's more sensitive. Well, it might be, but she can't even, she's getting burned in the shade. It's like, to ignore your senses as the mathematicians, science, which all scientists are mathematicians, that's what you'd have to do. You're taught to ignore your senses over the information they're trying to feed you, through, a lot of it through reading. So I don't I don't have big respect for reading's nonsense to me. It's obviously, it's a left hemisphere process, and you have to sit down and can't, can you read? And it's kind of hard to walk and read a book. Reading is asinine. Yes, reading is fundamental for their agenda. Who is they? Who is not they? There's only 144,000 of us. Who is not they? The majority. So that's what I'm saying. The point is, I'm not tied in a bottom of a slave ship boat, pissing and shitting on myself, as I said. I'm going to do a lot of repetition because there's no other way to say these things. Like, these things are good. So you don't have to listen. I didn't ask for any subscribers. No one has to hear this. But I said, so the thing is, I don't know if I'm part of you or not. And saying I don't know if I need to be or not be. I'm not trying to intrude. Sometimes I'm trying to reach. Obviously, anything that's happening to me is like, I can't be the only one. So if I if I invade your little world, and it seems like I'm trying to piggyback, as in, Stranger Things, or something, that's why that word occurred to me there, piggyback. I'm trying to piggyback on your channel or something. That's not my intent. I'm trying to reach the extremely isolated, the one in the cave who wakes up in the cave and in pitch blackness, and not only doesn't have a light, don't know what the fuck light is, whether it's due to forgetting or just never knew whatsoever. Doesn't really matter at that point. If the entity doesn't even know what light is, it doesn't know there's nothing but darkness. It doesn't know which way to turn. It's just there. And we cannot leave those there. That's the best way to put it. Whether it's our children being trafficked for sex and or labor, or throwing acid in women's faces, mutilating their vaginas, whatever, what we do in this realm. Saying, what deal did you make with existence? Did you not? Oh, you didn't make a deal with existence? You mean this wasn't emergency enough that you didn't make a goddamn deal with existence? And then when existence wouldn't respond, you didn't increase that motherfucking deal? You didn't take it to the point of, well, I can't remember why I exist or why anyone would exist, so I'll just offer up my right to exist, period. No, I'm the only one. No one else did that. No one sees the situation here so goddamn dire and immediate that they're just going to keep isolating themselves in their own corner little worlds and, build their own, just go run off from the cities, let them rot in hell. And while we, try to have an isolated little existence, no one else. I'm the only one that offered up the most you could, in which that's not really arrogant. That is very childlike. This wasn't the point of my video, but because I've never stated that, because I'm wondering, if I do know this, does someone hear me? I'm existing. That's the big, because I'm not going with God. Like I said, David Icke makes it clear, God is mistranslated in the scriptures. It's always plural but twice, and then it actually means tall guys. If God is actually gods and means tall guys, what the fuck are the religions talking about? Not rocket science. It'd be the ones who introduce language and mathematics and build pyramids, wouldn't it? What else could it be? There's few other options. But, okay, that's something, why would I lie about that? Now, I still don't know why I hadn't got on board with disclosing where we live. That's a big thing. You got a lot of truth-coming people that won't disclose where we actually live. Because if you realize you're in the center of everything, what you do more than matters, it absolutely matters, then that's a variable. And that's what I've been trying to say. We get tired of harping on that, but it's like, that's why I don't ever let it completely go, because most of these creatures still think they're spinning on an imaginary ball at some ridiculous speed with the atmosphere Velcro to the ground. You know what I'm saying? That's how ridiculous it is. And yes, I got that statement from a Christian who demands we yield to the demiurge, Yahweh, Jehovah, where that insane motherfucker that thinks he's got to tell us not to murder, then goes and says, hey, why don't you cut that baby out of that belly over there? Well, oh, it don't matter whether it's human or animal, just cut that baby out of the belly. Because I'm your daddy, and you got to go kill if you want that land. Whatever. I mean, come on now. Come on now. A living soul don't have to be told what to do. I mean, or at least, especially not what to do. What not to do is inherent. But so why do we adore all the submission to an entity? And that's what I hate about the flat earth movement. It was taken over by Christians, or tried to. And yes, that's the thing. Information that's accurate, you take from anywhere. You don't pick and choose, or you're gonna lose something. So yes, an arrogant Christian that demands submission to evil, pettiness itself, gave me that line. I was looking for it. That's the thing. I was looking at what's the line that maybe will stick in these creatures' brains. That's what the claim is, that the atmosphere is hurling at the same speed as the ground. Obviously impossible. And that's why, keep reminding, like, we didn't know, because like some Red Bull, NASA won't leave their camera on the sun. The thing that they demand studying and will have long hours in their CGI view of, they will not leave pointed at the sun. If they do, they'll go whiz past it. Where the cameras, where the cameras are being sent up, that's how we confirm this. They sit up there and they have no choice, and the sun's right there. And it's so obvious it's within something. The darkness is way behind it. It's obviously not 93 million miles away, and it's obviously not very big. What they say, 34 miles wide? Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not anything like they claim. Nothing whatsoever. So I'm in here and I was trying to have this, and all of a sudden I'm being encroached by it, as it always is. I come out to the lake, I'm walking barefooted, and now, you can't go anywhere where, like, the goddamn, basically the Matrix ain't collapsing on you and trying to eavesdrop, or, hey, you trying to defy me? Whatever. So, I'm not, no. So, as the sum of all our intents, supposedly just draining the shit out of my Caucasian bald ass, I guess I'll get something out here, because I don't get the point in telling all the specific of a particular story, unless this is why. Like I said, that Christina, the Heart Alchemist, says we always left our other half behind. We're saying, like, I guess it's protection. Like we always left some of us, our other half of our soul, behind, and I guess to watch out and protect from us, where you call it your higher self, your other half, whatever. I don't know. I don't care about the terminology. But this time we came together, and obviously I guess that would mean the exact same moment. We didn't all come as twins out of the same womb. There'd be a lot of twins now, wouldn't it? There'd be 200, that'd be 72,000 of us, or 200 and whatever math numbers, slice the pie, goddamn, it's one pie. You can slice up any times you goddamn want to, it's still one pie. But that doesn't mean we're one with those that do not actually have souls. That's impossible. Now, I don't care nothing about that concept, but it's the only thing that explains the goddamn behavior witness, especially since COVID. Are you shitting me? I mean, have you ever seen, the hive mind behavior, could it get any more hive-minded? More zombie-ish? I'll just look at your Black Mirror and do what you're told? Yeah, don't get any worse than this. I guess I'll move on, because, it was fine until I started shooting. All of a sudden, everyone's got a fish in my area, so I'll walk down the hill. Because no, I don't hide, but goddamn, can a motherfucker go anywhere on this earth and not be monitored? Apparently not. So, I'm barefoot. I'm going to go down the hill over here. Whatnot. Here you go. Here. But, God damn. I'm just saying, you're going to make you feel like crazy. It's just like narcissism. It's going to be subtle. It's going to be subtle as living fuck. Oh, no, that ain't happening. But then every time you try to do something, something interferes. Always. I'm posting this, all my shit's public. Facebook, YouTube, public. I don't hide shit. Do that intentionally. No, you ain't got to subject to my information, but it's there if you want it. Yada, yada. So I'm going to go over here. So I need to, cut it off some point, but I guess my only excuse would be to tell more detail of a story is that we're here together, thus more vulnerable. That would make sense. You know what I'm saying? That'd be what's happening now. Why does the one that called me the other half not recognize me at all? Why does he trust someone obsessed with their own mortality a seasoned gaslighting liar, that the only one he didn't have to lie about was her. Was to her. He can lie about me to anyone, because what do I care? What does what you say or your opinion about me feed, clothe, or shelter anyone, especially the children? So I mean, what would it matter to me? And I've had that theoretically, for a while, but it's like I'm really living it now. It's like, I mean, what do I care? I mean, if I'm a Satan, I've been trying to report for duty. What is the Jesus doing? I'm saying it's good or bad is not the issue in most cases. It's about relevance and resolution. What is me? And especially whether now some behaviors obviously just like raping children. That's bad. That's just completely unacceptable. That's not even that's not an option. That's beyond good or bad. But traditional good or badness, just everything either or, does not really. That evaluation does not really serve a purpose. It's not productive at all, actually, because it's led to no resolution so far. Now, has it? Any resolution and like, hey, you're good, you're bad, I'm better than you, and you're worse than me. I don't mean, when I speak, if I speak of someone, that's not why. Because, what I'm saying? That's not why. Whether like, I've heard a lot of reports in this Mark that like, he don't speak bad about me. I don't remember him saying he spoke well of me. Well, obviously you wouldn't speak bad of me. That would reflect on you, especially once they meet me. Because they would see like, what is this guy lying about? Or why this guy lying? So yes, it would be wise. This is for anyone not to speak about someone, unless it's going to be reflected back on them who they actually are. So, but again, even that entity, like the one that called me other half and then basically gaslit out of it. That's what she did. She called me other half and then just retracted, as most things she does. But that was, I told you that was the best day of my life. And you're just going to like dismiss me. And like I said, just because we don't align with some of these people that have warned you about him, doesn't mean that their information is inaccurate. That's what I say. He had to be the most victimized entity that ever lived to dismiss them and accept all his claims. And I'm saying I'm not claiming to be better or worse than him. Certainly not better, because I don't care. Especially, not only did I not care before, I'm talking about I'm living don't care. I really don't care, because there's absolutely nothing resolved in either side of that equation. Because like I said, at this point, Jesus ain't doing shit, is way behind schedule. And, of course, neither is Satan, but whichever one's willing. You know what I'm saying? It's not rocket science. Does it matter? At this point, does it matter? Does it matter what you did before? Is evaluating is deciding, finding on your character going to change anything? Apparently not. So, blah de blah. I hate to say yada yada. It's maybe such a Jewish. I don't know. Like someone the Mark made fun of me one time. But I don't know. I guess that's not Southern enough. See, I'm not good at this. That's why I don't expect people to have to endure this. But to give my specific story would almost have to be, I'd have to write it down and read from it to keep it concise enough to be relevant. But understand, if I do one day, I know I'm adding unnecessary drama. It's not. I don't mean to. It's just so much that, and it's so subtle that I don't know how to tell it. Just so much petty, purposeful miscommunication nonsense that I can't consider it. And why would your own soul? Why would your twin flame, your own soul? I only say it because it's the only thing that fits. I'm not having arrogance of a Mark. I assume the information that comes to me was predetermined. Okay? Not rocket science. So the information, whether it scares you or not, especially when it's that specific, I cannot dismiss it. Okay? Now, because this entity came to me in my life right at the time I made my deal with existence, which is the realest thing that I've ever, it's probably maybe the only moment I've actually been here on Earth. There was another moment she gaslit on that too. And that's not as an accusation. Like, I don't know why, You told me how susceptible your mental control to are. You told me to tell my truth and then don't want to hear any of it. It's like, and I've noticed all the time, like, yeah, you're the last one to take your own advice. You give very good advice, and you absolutely refuse to fucking take it. And so I'm just asking, it would fit that maybe we do need to be more, maybe we do need to tell our stories individually more, because if we came here together and we don't remember why, not only who we are, but why we are or why we would even exist, that's pretty damn dangerous. And your other half might be, captured mentally and locked into specific personalities. He's the one that claimed, Mark claimed you had 7 personalities. That's dangerous because, you see, I have a psychology degree, or that was my major. And that's one of the major things I remember is these personalities don't know each other because they're separated. You understand? In real time, they operate independently. There's no crossover. That's how it's done. They do not know each other because when one's active, the other's inactive. I don't mean to be weird about this, but it would be if Christine the Heart Alchemist is right, would be extremely dangerous that we came together this time and didn't leave any protection behind for us. So is that why people could handle long prison sentences and being chained into slave ships, pissing and shitting? I mean, what else? What do you do? I'm sure they didn't unchain them to piss and shit. I mean, is that how they endured that? Is because their other half was somewhere else? Like energetically at least keeping them sane and whole. And now we've gambled and come here, together. Together in the same lifetime at least, very close, maybe only a year or 2 born apart. However it's done, and now like we're very vulnerable, and then we can't even, and we have our own soul, our own other half, not only not being able to recognize us, but being trained to turn on us anytime we try to speak the truth. Is that what's going on? That I wouldn't mind an answer to.